Hi, welcome to my channel Reading with Reese's. My name is Jennifer. Today we're going to go over my favorite fiction reads of 2016. As you saw on Sunday in my favorite nonfiction reads video, which I will post in the show notes below, it was just going to be too long a video to combine both nonfiction and fiction. So that is why I've split them in two. Anyway, let's get started talking about my favorite fiction reads of 2016. I really enjoyed Homegoing by Yaw Jessie this year. So this is her debut. I'm sure you've heard a ton about it because it's just been on all the best books of 2016 list. And essentially what it is it starts out with two sisters. One marries into the British military in Ghana, and the other, her half sister, gets sold as a slave to America. And the rest of the book is short stories following their both of sides of the family's descendants. The sisters never meet, but it follows, race relations over time in America, and also the Ghanaian history, which I knew nothing about. And I mean, this was just, a great, great book, and I highly, highly recommend it. I would say my favorite fiction book of the year was The Queen of the Night, a novel by Alexander Chee. And this book recounts Liliette Burns. She is an opera singer in Napoleon-era France, and she is approached by a writer, and it is kind of the sign that you've made it as an opera singer. She's a soprano when someone writes a role specifically for you, and when she's given the story and reads it, she realizes that it recounts her past, and only four people know the details of her past. One loves her, one wants to own her, one she hopes never thinks of her, and one is dead. And she goes about trying to figure out who it was that betrayed her. And the book kind of goes through her history, and you kind of find out what how she got to be an opera singer. And that premise is just like catnip to me. When I first read about it, I was like, I have to have it. I immediately got it when it first came out. I mean, let me tell you, just the imagery in this book is absolutely amazing. I tweeted to Alexander Chee while I was reading it, going, "Oh my god, the imagery is so great." And he tweeted back and said, "Thank you." I was so excited. But I actually want to read you some of my favorite passages. So, first is, "Why is it so loud when you cry from grief? Because it must be loud enough for the missing one to hear, though it never can be. Loud enough to scale the sky in the backs of angels, or to fall through the earth to where they rest. And so it is sometimes when I sing that the notes come from me as if I believed I could reach them where they rest. They sure of a reunion I still cannot imagine or believe in, except sometimes in song." Then "I like to imagine myself returning to the witch to bargain again, pulling aside my scarf, a door there cut along my throat opening like a clock. I raise the box to my throat, and out comes something small and fierce. It hops in my hand like a little bird." Then she spends some time in the Empress of France employ, and she describes her toilet, and I just love kind of the description of this. So, Her luggage was by comparison to the Emperor's the greater. The trunks were made by Louis Vuitton in a pale gray known as Trianon gray. I just butchered that, but Trianon gray, her favorite gray. It was as if the Empress were secretly something enormous, dissembled in the morning dark, her various parts in the neat rows of boxes and trunks we'd prepared and brought up to the surface. This book was everything I wanted it to be. I am, completely, I love anything whimsical in fiction, and this had that in spades. Just the description of the clothes. Please, if you have not read this book, read it. It's amazing. I could go on about it forever. And, I have pressed this into the hands of multiple people. And I just read it. Read it now. So I'd also like to talk about some of the romance novels that I really liked this year. So the first is actually a series. It's the Elder Races series by Thea Harrison. The first book is Dragon Bound. There are 9 full novels right now, plus various novellas that kind of go in between each one. I haven't read the novellas, but I did read the full novels. The series had, it's just so full and rich. It's got the Weir, which are essentially shapeshifters. The main story, the first one is about, the Lord of the Weir. He's a dragon, Drogos, and his love interest, Pia. She's tricked into stealing something from, his collection, which I'm sure if you know dragon lore, they do not like to be stolen from. And, he chases her down and realizes she has a good reason for doing what she did, and they fall in love, and then just the world building is excellent, absolutely excellent. There's the Weir, and then there's the Dark Fae and the Light Fae and the elves. Different books just build upon each other, and the world building is just amazing. And if you're into romance and paranormal romance and just good books, I would highly recommend this. My other favorite romance read of the year was Do You Want to Start a Scandal? It's the 5th in the Spindle Cove series by Tessa Dare, which I have really enjoyed this series. This book is kind of a play on Clue, and something happens in the library. The main character, Charlotte, seeks out Lord Granville in the library at this house party that they're at. And she's basically she's coming to tell him that her mother is, one of those marriage-minded mamas and will try to throw her in his direction because he is the highest ranking lord at the party. And she wants to reassure him that she is not trying to trap him into marriage, that her mother is just, a little overbearing in that regard. As you would think, they are discovered in the library alone, and Lord Granville is forced to extend an offer of marriage to Charlotte, and she feels like she's trapping him, and she doesn't want that to happen. And so she decides she's going to solve this mystery. I won't say anything else about it because, it's fun just kind of going on the journey with the characters. Both characters are just really funny and they fit together well, and I love their story, and it's easy to believe that they're actually falling in love. And I would highly recommend this one if you're into historical romance. If you've read the Spindle Cove series, this is another top-notch part of that series, so I would recommend reading it. Well, there you have it. Those were my favorite fiction reads of 2016. You'll have to let me know if you've read any of them and what you thought. Also, what are your favorite fiction reads? I'd love to hear about them. Anyway, I hope you are having a good week. Check out my favorite nonfiction reads, which I posted on Sunday. I'll post the video in the show notes below. Anyway, have a good week. Bye.